everybody, I'm John Macaluso. Welcome to Making the Records. Let's dive into this. We're going deep. Okay, so what we're going to do here is feature an album I've recorded. So each episode, different album. We're going to highlight a beat or fill something from one of the songs. And I'm going to show you the beat, break it down. At the same time, tell you a little story about how we might have came up with the beat, why we chose that fill, how much I had to fight to keep that fill on the chorus. It's amazing how much you can do with one beat. So I'm also going to show you how by changing the tempo or what you hit, you could actually change the style of music. This is episode number 1. I'm going to feature Mr. Michael Romeo, one of my favorite guitarists and people on the planet. Amazing. The album is called War of the Worlds Part 1. The song is called Gin. We're going to do the chorus of Gin. Welcome, let's do it. So the way we made War of the Worlds Part 1 was across the sea. I'm from New York, but I live in Italy, and there's a little tiny country in Italy called San Marino. Amazing place. And in San Marino is my great buddy Simone Mollerone's studio. It's called Domination Studios. All right. So me and Simone did the drums in San Marino, or Italia, and Mike was in New Jersey, where he lives. So Mike sent me a demo, and when he sent me the demo tape of the album, he said, I wrote it with you in mind. He said you could experiment. He just gave me some ideas of what he would like. Experiment, but obviously, if he's going to play a triplet, digga 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 digga, for me not to do like Hawaii 5-0 fill on top. Digga 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 psh. I want to be a lifeguard. So that really helped because I knew kind of my boundaries. And it worked. Now the cool thing is Romeo is actually a pretty good drummer, so he knows how to program realistic, realistic patterns and beats. It's not like a ride bell with a snare, a splash, a cowbell, and a bass drum at the same time. You heard those demos. Typical guitar players. Anyway, yeah, so Romeo knows what he's doing, and obviously, and he sent me the demo, and the cool thing he said was, I wrote it with you in mind, do your thing, but try to follow my kick patterns the best you could. So the idea was, I got a kick pattern, now I got to build around it, but not divert from the groove too much. So I used a lot of linear drumming. Linear drumming was when no two notes play together. You never do. It's always... So the cool thing is, I got Mike's pattern on the kicks, and between the kicks, I could put snare, bells, cymbals, make melodies. It's a way to play all your cool stuff, but not disturb the groove. That's the advantage of linear. Also, you can have 4 grooves at one time, 4 simultaneous rhythms, right hand, right foot, left foot, and still keep the main groove. The advantages of linear. Another guy who does pretty good demos is Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie J. Malmsteen to you. When I did his albums, he would send me a demo, and, realistic drumming, so it was easy to follow. Again, he said, do your thing, but follow most of my stuff. But Yngwie had like this 30-second note triplet bass drum button. So he would put it in. He would put it in every once in a while. He got dugutaka 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 dugutaka. I said, come on, man, you want me to play that? Yeah, of course, play that. What am I paying you for? Anyway, both great guys to work with as far as programming the stuff and getting the idea and letting me be free. a different fill on the album. But isn't it amazing how the most memorable and greatest drum fill ever recorded was recorded by a guy named Phil? Okay, Gin, slow it down. Okay, this next section, I'm going to show you something I call melodic linear. We're going to do the linear beat from Gin, but on top I'm going to try to make melodies with the bells and cymbals. If you come up with a cool melody, now you can be part of the songwriting process. Think about it. You got a cool melody on the bells, you got a simple beat, you go into the rehearsal studio with your band, you say, guitarist, play my melody, bass player, play my kick, keyboard player, where is he? He's at another gig. So tomorrow you could show him. Play the snare. Anyway, this is melodic linear. Check it out. I hope you dig it. So one beat can go a long way. Take what I'm showing you and make it your own. Try different ways to play it. That's what my great drum teacher Joe Franco used to do. He would give me exercises, beats, fills, and say, come next week and play it the way I showed you, and make it your own. Try different ways to do what I'm showing you. So I'm going to do that with the Gin beat here. We're going to take the Gin beat and completely change the style. I'm going to change the tuning of the drums, change the cymbals, change the dynamic, and change the tempo. We're going to make it more of like an industrial techno vibe. And I'm going to put a little chili sauce, a little Parmigiano on top to spice it up, meaning I'm going to put some effects on my drums. So what you're hearing here is all drums straight from the camera audio. Here's Gin in a different way. Here we go. Okay, speaking of paradiddles, my dog Mooney here is going to show you his famous Moonadiddle. The thing is, he only speaks Italian, so non ti preoccupare. Ok, da fino, saluto, bravo. Moonadiddle. Destra, sinistra, destra, destra, sinistra, destra, sinistra, sinistra. Un'altra set. Bravo, Moonadiddle, woo! I taught him everything he knows. Ah, guitarists. You gotta love them. So, I wanted to play guitar before drums. It was 1978. So we were driving down the road, I was with my mother, and we saw a guitar at a garage sale. So I went and bought it, $15, picked it up, brought it home, and it sounded terrible because I couldn't tune it. This is before electric tuners, before the internet. So I went out and we bought this little thing called a pitch pipe, a little white box with the notes written on it and tubes, and you had to go. 1 week of this, it was horrible, it was a nightmare. So I took the guitar, I was a big Who fan, I still am. I took the guitar and I smashed it in the street like Pt.1. And then later on I found out the guitar I smashed is now a classic guitar. It's called a Vox Meteor. It looked like a spaceship, there was like little knobs and everything. Anyway, there's my guitar story. When I was younger, I graduated school early. I went to night school and day school to get out a year early, moved to California from New York, and went to Musicians Institute. It was 1986. 1986 in LA was like the place to be for music. The whole world was there. But you had two choices. You can play with the Shredders, or you can play Talk Dirty to Me. I wasn't into that. So I went with the Shredders. You could really create, be creative, and that was it. It all started from there. I'm glad I did it. Anyway, I'm the worst guitarist in the world, but I've been lucky enough to play with some of the best. Mr. Mike Romeo, Yngwie Malmsteen, Jennifer Batten, George Lynch, Ronnie Latico, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, Alex Massey, Cooley, John Roth, Metal Mike, Paul Hansen, Marcus Foley, Chris Caffrey. If there's anybody I forgot, I'm sorry. Many, many guitar players. So yeah, it's been cool. One thing all these guys and girls have in common, all these guitar players, they all play guitar. But if they give you a drummer joke, here's your comeback. This is what you say to them. Man, out of all the guitar players I played with, and they go, yeah, you're one of them. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed episode number 1 of Making the Records. Making the Records. Mike Romeo's War of the Worlds Part 1. In episode number 2, you got to see this one. Power Mad Absolute Power album, which I recorded in 1989, and I'm going to connect it with the Wild at Heart movie and soundtrack. David Lynch's movie. For those of you who don't know, Power Mad, we were in the movie. In the movie was Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, Harry Dean Stanton, Willem Dafoe, John Macaluso. Anyway, check it out. Coming soon, episode number 2 of Making the Records.